Hello everybody, welcome back to Sharon from Vivid Days. This is my first video of 2025 and we are going to add value to this already really nice candle holder. This came from Amazon, it's fairly cheap, you could get a pack of two, which is what I've got, so come back and see what I do with the second one. The masking tape is to try and protect those silver edges and we are going to tumble. Choose colours that inspire you. For me, I'm working with yummy red and a little bit of gold. Just let go, let your creativity flow, go on the journey and learn as you go. Preparation is minimal. Most importantly, make sure your candle holder is firmly attached to your tumbler and it's not going to wobble. Wipe down your glass candle holder with some isopropyl alcohol before you start applying your alcohol inks. I apply gold mica powder. Make sure it's good quality, only sprinkle a little goes a long way, especially when you start adding resin and also your alcohol inks. If you have more patience than me, when you've done your first coat of alcohol inks, walk away, let it dry, and then come back and add another layer. You still gain beautiful effects either way, but you might have more control of where the lines are, your composition. But I don't have patience and I like to just go, and sometimes you can overwork, and sometimes you may think, oh, that's not gonna look great, but on the next round of alcohol inks, magic happens. And for me, adding that white added a little bit of depth. It helped move that gold mica powder around. And the goal for me was to have a translucent image in the end. So when the candle is in between the candle holder, you still see that glow coming through, and then you get that deep marbling effect. There's many a time when I look at this video that I could have paused. I could have stopped as it was. You may only want to add your alcohol ink to resin, and that's okay. But I wanted to create the vibe first and then just go over with my resin. Whether I'm making food in real life or mixing up some resin for creativity, I always mix up too much. But I always have a little handy silicone mold at the side of me to put in my extra and start to make some key rings with them. Now I only mixed up 20 ml of resin, I had a little bit of that super sparkle white, and I start applying. On my lollipop stick you can see where some of the alcohol inks come off, and that's where I didn't wait quite long enough for it to dry. Using my finger helps me have a little control because I wanted to make sure it didn't leak under the masking tape, but I also didn't want too much heavy weight on this candle holder. The resin was just to bring it all together and to allow me the option to add more alcohol inks on top to help create depths. I just love this process. Such a simple process, but such great effects. The limitations are only in your imagination. You could just go with half of the tumbler, or should I say your candle holder, with resin and alcohol inks. You could go with the whole lot like I am. Just have some fun and learn as you're going. It's always about progress, not perfection. And it's always about what you can take forward to future projects. You can see I'm applying my little bit of resin with alcohol inks to the left. And I have got a whole little container full of these little squares, and I'm going to show you a video of some of the different effects. But we don't like to waste. Resin's expensive, and by doing these little cubes, I always get inspired to create other pieces from this. My hot tip for you is to, before applying mica powders or any other alcohol ink, is give your resin a few minutes to level out. It's a beautiful fluid medium, and as it's going around it will self-level. If you apply your alcohol inks or mica powder before it's leveled, you're going to have less control over your composition. I'd waited a couple of minutes and then I came in and added a little bit of mica powder and then started adding more alcohol inks. You can still see through the depth to what I'd created before, but again, this is optional extra. But I wasn't happy with the white. It wasn't strong enough, and I started to think to myself, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no. I think it's important that I share that with you because sometimes people think that we get it perfect all the time. I rarely get it right first time. I rarely get anything good without failing first. That's just the reality. But I'd invested time in this, and although you could still see below, the top layer now was distracting. So I'm pondering, what is it that I can do to try and salvage this? I could have scraped off the resin, but I didn't want to do that because the resin will still add value, but I just wanted to control what was on the top. You'll see me applying more alcohol inks, maybe coming in with some mica powder, but you're limited to how much of that you can do before it's going to remain tacky in your resin. So I decided to start swirling, and people that's been on my channel for a long time will know, if in doubt, swirl it out. This is where intuition kicks in with me, and I think sometimes that's when you can do some of your best works, where you let go of fear of failure. You let go of what it was you were trying to achieve, and then let the resin gods or the art take you on a journey. I liked what I was seeing, also looking after my little cubes there, adding a little effect, and I figured that by swirling it I was reducing the amount of white, just added a little bit more colour in there. And you'll see that I have a little bit of resin on the mat in front that had come up with a drip, and I added a little bit of gold mica powder in there, so you can't see, it's just beyond the camera, but I just put a little tip in my wooden skewer and then start drawing little gold lines, and you'll see as it comes around, those gold lines appears, and it started looking like a marble effect. Now at the bottom there, I'm just applying some more mica directly to there because I wanted slightly more gold at the bottom, but I still come in and I swirl it out. So I let it form its puddle, and then I come in with my skewer and I deconstruct it a little bit. But I really enjoy the joy of almost painting on my resin with the gold mica. Now, because my resin's been set in for a little while, there's more control, it's leveled out, there's not a lot of leakage, and my gold doesn't take over. It stays almost in the form of the lines, and I figured that that was all I could do now with this. I love the end result. Would I have liked it different? Absolutely. But I went on a journey, and now I'm inspired to actually paint on more lines in a purposeful way in future projects. 4 hours went past and it's still tacky, but it is curing. This is the time where I needed to come in and take off my masking tape to make sure it's not going to stick to it when it fully cures. It also provides you an opportunity to remove any drips that may have been there, because with a little bit of alcohol on your little cupboard in a controlled way, you can pull it off. And if your resin is slightly bulging in one area, it may help flatten it, but it really was just to remove the masking tape and remove the excess. And there was a tiny little bit there, you can see, and I've got alcohol on that tissue and I am just wiping it off, and it comes across beautifully. But if you can see, just towards the bottom of that, there's a little bit of red, and in my head I was going, oh no. But there was nothing I could do at this stage. I needed it to fully cure overnight before I came back and removed it from the tumbler and see what damaged, because I've got a little bit of leakage freakage at this point. If you're feeling that my video has inspired you or invoked some creativity, please consider giving me a thumbs up, subscribe and share. Comments are always welcome. It really does help my channel grow, and it really keeps inspiring me sharing my art with you. Now this is where the reality hit. I had a little bit of leakage through where the silver top of the candle holder was. So although it is cured and it's the next day, I didn't want to put any pressure on my resin. I'm also mindful there it is glass underneath that resin. It did come away, but you will see where it has stuck to it. So I do come in and try and remove some of that. It is still pliable, but at the end of the day, I'm limited to how much I can do because I don't want to scrape the silver frame and I don't want to break the glass. So very delicately, just focusing it on the resin itself, I'm able to remove the excess. Not everything came away, majority did. And here I am taking out my little cubes. Now I come in and embellish those a little bit more and turn them into key rings, but I'll show you that a little bit later. But the moral of the story for me, or the big learn for me, is to put some little latex on the inside of my candle holder to create a firm seal. And I'll show you that on the next project. But here we are. We're going into review mode. I'll show it you outside. I'll show you with a little candle in the middle. It never gives you on camera the beauty that I see. And as I'm editing this video now, I've got it lit at the side and with a tiny little tea light underneath, and it looks stunning. But I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are safe and well. And if you are creative, I hope that you're finding time to create. Please make sure you do come back and see me. I really appreciate you hanging out with me, and I will see you on the next video. Until then, much love. Bye bye.